Oh, I don't want a lot for Christmas. There's just one thing that I need. I don't care about the presents underneath the Christmas tree. I just want you for my own, more than you could ever know. Make my wish come true, 'cause all I want for Christmas is you. Yeah, yeah. I don't want a lot for Christmas. There is just one thing I need. I don't care about the presents underneath the Christmas tree. I don't need to hang my stocking there under the fireplace. Santa Claus will make me happy with a toy on Christmas Day. I just want you for my own, more than you could ever know. Make my wish come true, 'cause all I want for Christmas is you. I won't ask for much this Christmas. I won't even wish for snow. I'm just gonna keep on waiting underneath the mistletoe. I will make a list and send it to the North Pole for.
We're Hassani and Danielle Pettiford, and we're a real couple with real problems who almost called it quits.
I was very frustrated. I became very disconnected, very jaded and cold.
We have 4 children, going on 20 years of marriage, and we practice what we preach.
Our mission, to change the way couples relate to one another and teach them the skills needed to improve the quality of their relationships. This is the Couples Academy Show.
Well, welcome everyone. It is the Couples Academy Show, and that's right, it says 5 days till Christmas. 5 days. I can't even believe we're here. I've been so is somebody happy?
Yeah, that's my happy dance.
That's the happy dance. Well, listen, my name is Hassani.
I'm Danielle.
And you're tuning in this morning. We want to know who you are, where you're calling in from, because this is the place where people around the world hang out to talk about love, life, and relationships. And we're excited to be on once again. So make sure
you like. Oh, my bad.
Okay.
Like, share, and subscribe. Hit that notification bell, y'all. You won't miss a show. And also remember, it's all because of you that we're sharing this message and it's spreading all across the 4 corners of the planet. And so we appreciate every like, every share, and every subscribe.
Now, today we're talking about how words can damage your marriage. Now, communication is one of those things. We've talked about it before. There's 5 things that can really impact a marriage in a negative way. Sex, finances, parenting, in-laws, and of course, communication. So we're going to take our time and kind of unpack it. But before we get started, really quick announcement. Last Chance Weekend coming up January the 7th through the 9th. You can reach out to us and get registered. We're going to share with you a phenomenal testimonial from somebody who just experienced this on last month. Let's see what he has to say.
Hi, my name is Mustafa. I'm from New Jersey, here for the Last Chance Weekend. I can first and foremost say that very fortunate and happy that my wife actually brought this to my attention, and that we were able to come here for the Couples Academy for this weekend. It's been a powerful week for me. My D-Day was just brand new. It's not even been a week yet, and the tools and the experiences and the family that I have gained here over these last 72 hours has been that leap that they have discussed throughout this entire training. The amount of work, and I'm going to say work, that we put in over these last few days has been exhausting, mentally, physically, emotionally. But man, it's what you needed. It's what you needed. It's what I needed. Being a man, you think you know what being a man is, but being here and having that love and support, because you can have all those conversations that you have at home, and those are hard ones, real hard ones. Having a team that is educated and knows how to handle those conversations and those situations, and to be able to help facilitate and moderate while you are engaging in those conversations with your loved one is something that I cannot say I would have gotten anywhere else, anywhere in the country, at home, at a doctor's office, anywhere with a therapist. They're more than therapists here. They're with you from morning, 5 a.m. till night, midnight. What therapist do you have that resource that you can communicate with for that amount of time? Not just 1 day, 2 days, 3 days. It's immense. And the resources, they don't kick you out of the nest and say, all right, we did what we did. They continue with you. They give you more resources, because just like we had those dark days before we came here, we're going right back to that same environment, that same home, the same places where your demons were released. And knowing that we have built that community and the family moving forward that can help at the drop of a dime is something that I will forever be grateful for. People don't teach you this when you get married. There's no book. There are books. Yes, there are books, but how many people actually read those books? Those books aren't going to give you feedback immediately back, and you have a question about what's in that book. Coming to Couples Academy, yes, there's content you read, but then you're listening to the pros. Ask them questions, they talk right back to you. You give them scenarios, they work it through in a way that is conducive, in a way that's respectful, in a way that you're not fearful. And being able to be in that setting is something that I recommend for anyone that's either going through this, not even going through this, about to get married, about to get into a real relationship. You need to understand how those feelings can be, and any feelings that you may have in the future, and how you can address that. And I can say being with Couples Academy this weekend and moving forward is going to be something that I will take with me for the rest of my life.
Powerful. You know, one of the things that stood out about what he said was the demons being released, which I thought was powerful, because that's, you know, spiritual. He may have said it metaphorically or literally, but that's what happens because you come in. Think about the level of pain, the hurt, all of the emotions. You know, when we've done deep teachings in the past, we've talked about how a lot of these emotions we're carrying are really beings that have consumed us. And there has to be a release of that. That level of toxicity has to come out of you. There's got to be, in essence, it's almost like once you release and are delivered from these negative beings that have consumed you, it frees you and it impacts your relationship. So when we say the key to your marital restoration is your personal transformation, a lot of times people come down with the agenda to fix their spouse, and they realize, oh, wait a minute, there's some stuff in me. It's me, oh Lord, standing in the need of prayer. Not my mother, not my father, but me, oh Lord. So
That's the coolest thing to experience during those last chance weekends is when the light bulb flicks on and people realize, oh snap, I need to work on me. When people start saying that, it's a powerful moment, because they come in there with this agenda like, I'm gonna fix him, I'm gonna fix her. And then throughout the process, you realize, oh wow, there's a lot of work I need to do, and I want to do it. You're motivated, you're excited, you have a new prospect for the future, and it's amazing.
It is.
Let's say hello to somebody. Let's say good morning to Justin Williams. Good morning, LaShawn, all the way out in Cleveland, Ohio. Yushana is joining us from Mansfield, Texas. Danielle, she's joining us from Flint, Michigan. Hey, Gonzalez in Allentown, PA. Janita is joining us. Good morning. She's saying, good morning, first time here, so exciting. Just a couple of videos we watched and things have changed. Praise God. That's awesome. Thanks. So good to hear that. JG is joining us from Los Angeles. Jewel is joining us also from Allentown, PA. Jarius is with us from New Iberia, Louisiana. Never heard of New Iberia. Treetop Palmer is joining us. Good morning. Merry Christmas to you. Tara is with us in Detroit. Fedlina, Las Vegas. Shalise in New Jersey, Hackettstown. I don't know where that's at, but you know New Jersey is our old stomping town. You said North Jersey?
I think North Jersey.
All the way north?
Yeah, I think.
Thank you for joining us. Vashawn, good morning, Chicago. Ayana says, good morning, Couples Academy. Y'all were in my house this weekend. My husband went from 0 to 10, saying lots of hurtful words. I let him know I did not like his tone or what he was saying to me. I got out of the house, called our prayer group, took a breather, came home, went on about my day. For the first time in our marriage, with counseling and Couples Academy teaching, I was able to stand up for myself. I love my husband and I love myself. Saving up for last chance weekend. Hashtag our marriage is worth fighting for.
Yeah.
I'm a little shook by that. That is awesome. Like, you know what? I don't mean to interrupt you, but what inspired me about what she said is that Couples Academy was in my house this weekend. So she has been tuning in and learning not to engage and throw hands, verbal hands, right? Throw verbal hands. But you removed yourself from the situation, took a breather, and came back to the situation. Yeah. So what you're learning, you're implementing, and that's awesome. Go.
Guys, it's important that we have this conversation about how words can damage a marriage, because they actually can. You've heard before the term sticks and stones may break your bones, but words will never harm you. But we know that that is a lie. Yes, sticks and stones can break your bones, but words can kill you. Words can do what sticks and stones cannot. I mean, if I took a stick or stone and hit you with it, it would create a physical wound. You would go to the doctor, maybe you would need some type of care, some type of treatment, and then the doctor would say, take this medication, put this sling on, and in a few weeks, you should be back to normal. That's something that we can all understand. Like, I can get physical wounds when I see somebody limping or they're holding their arm. Okay, physically, okay, it's gonna take a little bit of time, you'll be better. But when an emotional wound happens because of words, you can't visually see an emotional wound. It's intangible. Does that make sense? It's intangible. It's something you carry in your head. It's something you carry on your heart. And typically, emotional wounds take a lot longer to heal from than a physical wound. And so that's why it's so critically important that you be careful with the words that you speak, because those words become like daggers that cut into the heart of a person and can really tear them down, shut them down, impact their lives for a long time, particularly in a relationship.
Absolutely. It's death by a million cuts, right? Think about how we are shaped and formed. We're dirt bodies, right? We were shaped and formed from the dust of the earth. You're a dirt body. Miles Monroe said it all the time. And when you are sowing seeds into the earth, you must first cut into the earth. When you cut into the earth, then you put your seeds into the earth. Okay? So that's how we sow seeds. Well, we are sowing verbal seeds into our spouses every time we speak a negative or positive word. That's powerful in and of itself, because what ends up happening is when we start shooting those daggers at each other, cussing each other out, calling us outside of our name, pointing out all the flaws and the negative issues and all the problems and issues, just verbally assaulting. Hassani calls it being a verbal assassin. We're literally sowing those seeds into the person. And you know what, depending on our personality style, the way we respond varies. Some of us shut down and don't say anything. Some of us dust it off and try again and act like it doesn't matter. You know, some people, it doesn't matter what you say. As a matter of fact, you get real down, dirty, and gully with them, because you know what? They don't have any emotions. So you're going to get as dirty and low as you can, say the worst things you possibly can just to get a rise out of them. It's all an act, because our words do not return to us void. So you can't act and pretend your way out of the result of the dagger of my words, right? So when I say these things to you, I plant those seeds into you, there is an actual biological response that people aren't aware of. And this has been studied by scientists. And that biological response is that it actually goes into the body and causes a release of hormones that cause anxiety and stress. And we know what anxiety and stress causes, physical sickness. The other thing that's super interesting about words, and we're going to be talking about this, how words can damage your marriage. We're going to be talking about this for the next week. Go deep in this so that you get some real understanding. And we're going to turn and we're going to transmutate how we use our words so that we can start building instead of tearing down. But the interesting thing about our words is when we attack each other with words and we have that anxiety and that stress, is that now it's like we have an emotional and mental autoimmune disease. Because the stuff that you said to me, throwing your hateful daggers, now I internalize it. And now my back talk takes over. You ain't nothing. You stupid. Did that wrong. You just so lazy. Nothing you do is right. Everything you do is wrong. The back talk takes over. And so now it's increased stress. So what scientists say is that it's not only the words that your spouse says to you or someone says to you that causes this release of negative chemicals in your body, but it's also your self-talk. What you say to you. But where did I get it from?
Your spouse. So in essence, what you speak to me, I begin to speak to myself.
Absolutely.
Now, what's powerful about this, we've been married 19 years. So let's just say, and we dated for about a year and a half before we said I do. So she says something hurtful to me month 3 into our courtship. Now we're talking over 19 years ago. But when she threw it, I caught it.
In your body.
I caught it. I caught it. It pierced me. It pierced my heart, pierced my mind. I caught it. I've been holding on to it for the last 19 years. Now, she doesn't remember what she said 19 years ago, but I do as if it was yesterday because I'm reliving it again and again and again. And it's become so real to me. And now I've internalized that messaging and I've been saying it for the last 19 years. So now when she says something counter to what she said over 19 years ago, I can't receive it because I still have locked in my subconscious mind that painful word.
If you're a verbal assassin, say oops in the chat.
But see, isn't that what we do? We hold on to the negative more than the positive.
Yeah.
And so we believe the negative more than the positive. And that it was so cutting. It was so, it literally pierced into my psyche and I haven't been able to let it go. And now I begin to question myself. And now I begin to believe the lie. And now I begin to allow myself to vacillate and ruminate and meditate on that thing, which then shapes how I see myself.
That's right. That's why you have a lot of people saying, before we met, I used to do this. I used to feel like this. I used to have confidence in myself. I used to do that. But as long as I've been with you, you've torn my confidence down. You've changed my own internal perspective. But here's good news. There's good news. And that is that it works the same way on the positive. So you can actually use your words to bring life. Here's an interesting story that I have to share because I have been unearthing daggers of my life. We came into the relationship with a lot of issues. Like every problem you got isn't your spouse. Let's just go ahead and acknowledge that, okay? And one thing that I always share with people, and I'll share it again, is the whole white thing. Danny, you too nasty for white. You can't wear white. Danny can't wear no white. That was a dagger sewn, innocently sewn. We say stuff, we don't even know what we're saying sometimes. When I was a little girl, climbing trees, hanging out with my brother, tearing up white stockings, ripping out bows in my hair. It wasn't until I was 21, shopping at the Express, looking at a rack of white shirts, that dagger unearthed in back talk. I heard it as clear as day. Danny, you too nasty for white. Why are you looking at these white shirts? At some point, we have to divorce ourselves from these false narratives that are playing in the back of our minds. If we don't do it, no one will do it. So the brilliant thing about how God created us is that we also have the ability to change our thoughts. I love that song, because I'm happy, clap along if you feel like a
Something like that.
without a roof.
Right.
We have our own version of the song, so I don't want to sing my marriage song. But anyway, at the end of the day, change your energy. I've learned this concept. You need to learn this concept for yourself. And that's why I love what Ayanna said, because in an indirect way she did this. She changed her energy by changing her space. And you can do this because you have daggers. They're already there. You got to pull some of those out, but there are daggers there. You have back talk. It's what you hear all the time. It's what you're combating all the time. It's negative self-doubt and beliefs about yourself. But you can change the energy, and that's important. It was a Dr. Thomas Jefferson. He's a scientist working at the University of Walden. I'm not sure where that is, but stated, a single word has the power to influence the expression of genes that regulate physical and emotional stress. A single word, I'm gonna say it again, has the power to influence the expression of genes in your body that regulate our physical body, and emotional stress. That means that I can speak a word of life to you that will motivate you physically and change your emotional constructs. So what I would do when I was in a stressful situation and I'm feeling down and low is literally get up, turn some music, and spin myself into a frenzy of joy. I'll never forget, not too long after Hassani and I moved back to the States, I needed to get our kids into daycare. We were struggling. We were on the struggle bus, okay? And I remember looking up this daycare. The daycare's website was busted. And I remember I could fix that. I could handle that, right? And so I had this idea that I was gonna reach out to this company, this daycare, and make an offer. I will fix your website if you watch my children for free, fair exchange. But at that moment, self-doubt. The back talk happened. You can't do that. They're not gonna, you can't approach them on that. You don't know them. All the negative thoughts consumed me to the point where I physically felt sick in my stomach, worry, fear of rejection. Physically, I started to feel it. Emotionally, I was telling myself I couldn't do it. I got up, turned some music on, danced, changed the energy so that I felt different and made the call. You think I made that deal? I made that deal.
You did.
I made that deal. And we made a fair exchange. So it's important, guys, for us to acknowledge. Where's the back music? Thank you. We got to acknowledge. Did you want to jump in on that?
I want to jump in on a point because you were talking about the word energy. And I think it's important that everybody understands that every word spoken is energy. Like at the end of the day, everything is energy. We are energy, laptop energy, microphone energy. Everything is energy. Everything is vibrating on a certain frequency.
Yes.
So when you speak a negative word, you're releasing negative energy. And what happens is, we talked about how the energy pierces into. So it's almost like when I speak words out, they're intangible, you can't see them, but they're going into the eyes, the ears, the mouth, they're entering into a person. And to your point, it's affecting the gene and the DNA. It literally does something to the person that actually changes them.
It does. And that's a point that I want to zero in on, because that's where I was going. The daggers that you're carrying is literally shaping who you are. So that negative self-talk that I was just talking about wasn't there before the daggers. That came upon you as a result of the daggers. See, I'm talking to both sides here. I'm talking to the receiver of the daggers and the thrower of the daggers. You don't know the impact of your words. And literally, you are perpetuating the breakdown of your spouse by the words that you are throwing at them, all the issues that you don't want, but you're sowing the issues into your spouse with every word you speak. And And that's what people need to understand. Not only are you literally perpetuating the issues in your relationship with your words, but the person is changing and shape-shifting into what you're saying. That's the power of your words. So as a child coming up, and I want to make this relevant to you, and that's, anybody can relate to your childhood. The things that your parents said to you, unaware of the impact. Something as simple as my mother used to always say, and I love my mother, you know my mother's thebomb.com, may she rest in peace, but this is a teaching moment. These are the things that I've learned to be careful with my words, with my children, because they go in, they sow into them. She would always say, Danny's strong, she don't need nobody, she got this, she can handle it. And I would be like, yeah, I didn't say yeah, but internally, yeah. And so there was a mantle I carried all the way down the aisle in the marriage. I'm strong, I don't need nobody. And then one day it hit me like, no, I don't want to be so strong that I don't need anybody. I want to be a co-partner. I want to lean on him and him lean on me. I don't want to be so strong that you could go. So this is what happens, guys. We carry these ideals and these mindsets and they don't belong to us. And let me tell you something about mindfulness, meditation, and prayer. That if you ever allowed yourself to get quiet long enough, you would find that you are not your thoughts. Just think about that. You are not your thoughts. There's a scripture, I don't know where it's at, but y'all can Google it. And it talks about testing the spirit. That means that when you hear voices, some people always got a word. I got a word.
Test the line.
Where did your word come from? Test the word. Because people get messages from all kinds of sources and trying to deliver messages to you, right? At the end of the day, you need to test that and make sure that it's legitimate. But when it comes to us receiving, we have to learn how to sort, divide, reject. We have to get to the point where we can immediately reject and guard ourselves. That's what Ayana did. That's just said, I can't take this, I'm out. I'm not gonna allow the daggers, I'm not gonna receive this anymore, I'm gonna remove myself from the situation. Mm-hmm. And this is the awakening that you have to have, folks. If we're gonna move forward as healthy couples, we're gonna have to temper our tongue, put a bridle on it. You do not get to say what you want just because you're mad, just because they did something to you. As revenge, you don't get to do that. Because the truth is that what you do, every knife you hurl, dagger you hurl, you're hurling it right at yourself. Because you're one. If you want better, speak better. Because your words do not return to you void.
I'm excited because we're giving you an overview, but we are about to go deep, guys. I need for the rest of the week, for when you show up, you bring a pad, bring a pen, because we about to go into some stuff that is really gonna peel your cap back and give you a new insight into the power of words. Life and death. Thank you, Gonzalez. Thank you, Jewel. Life and death are in the power of your tongue. So you can speak life to your marriage or you can speak death to your marriage. It's really up to you. If you have the ability of managing and mastering this, you can have whatever you want. And so, listen, we thank you for tuning in today. We're just getting started. This is the Couples Academy show where we come to you every single day with powerful, impacted information to transform your life and your relationships. We want you to share this message with other people. Get as many people in this week. I know it's Christmas week, you're shopping, you're doing a whole lot of things, but we want to give you a foundation that will help you transition into the new year with a new mind, a new heart, a new connection, a new marriage, and it all starts right here. With that tongue in your mouth.
New mouth, new year, new tongue, new marriage.
There it is. Boom. All right, guys. See you tomorrow.
Bye,
Take care.
Guys.